Back again. We're gonna attempt to do an EGT probe sensor. This is the exhaust manifold on the driver's side. The bottom of your screen is going to be towards the back of the truck. Top of the screen is going to be the front. I want to put it here in the elbow. And not super excited about drilling into an exhaust manifold, but we're going to do it. This is on the 2006 F350 with 6.0. So I'm going to go ahead and get the drill set up and drill the hole, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I got the hole drilled, as you can see in that picture there, or the video. I've got a really big pair of goggles on. I suggested if you're gonna do this job from the underside. I took a lot of stuff off on the top side, and I just didn't see a way of getting my drill in there with a drill bit. I didn't think I'd have enough room, so yeah, I did it on the bottom, and I think I had more than enough room. Well, I know I had more than enough room, so what I'm going to do now is to get my metal shavings out that haven't came out yet, is just stick this, dollar magnet in the hole. You can get it at any part store. So, surprisingly didn't get much. Hopefully that doesn't translate to there still being pieces inside. But I was searching all over the internet and I couldn't find a video of anybody putting a EGT in a 2006. All the videos I found were people just showing their gauges off, which doesn't really help. So I've already got the gauges in. I was just dreading doing this part because if you mess up, it costs a lot of money. So see if I can get any more. I'll get a wrench and the tap. When I bought the kit from Gloshift, they gave me the option to buy the drill bit and their tap. And I suggest, unless you do a lot of cutting and stuff like that, or I mean drilling into metal, it's better just to go with theirs instead of wondering if you've got the right one or if it'll fit or anything else. So it came with that, the drill bit, and it also came with the tap. I'm going to go up top and get the tap, and then I'm going to go ahead and tap these threads here. So there's the box that the tap and drill came with, or tap and drill bit. I think it was like $7 or something like that when I ordered the gauges. I don't know, whatever it was, it's more than worth it to me. Maybe if you have a lot of taps and drills, then just use your own, but I wasn't sure if I had the right size tap. I knew I had the right size drill bit, so I just ordered it with it, and it came at the same time. So here's the tap that it comes with, tapered NPT, and because of clearance reasons, I'm going to use a socket instead of the normal T handle that I have for all my other taps. So this is a 10 millimeter, and I believe a 12 point. Yep. So fits right in there nice. I'm going to crawl back under the truck and show you where we're doing that at. So Okay, so I got the tap as far as I felt comfortable putting it. If you go too far with a tap, you'll end up going past the shoulder, and you can get it back out, but it's a pain in the butt lining it up. So when you're all done, you should be able to just finger tight twist this tap out. So tap's all out. Here's my nice new clean hole. See if the camera will focus on the threads. I guess that's as good as it's going to get. But anyway, there's the threads. Got that all finished up. So now I got to go back up top. I should have grabbed it when I was up there last time, but I got to grab the probe insert piece and then grab the probe and just drop it down because it's already ran up top. So that's the next step. Correction, that's not the next step. I'm going to be putting this magnet back in there again after I tap. Outside first, make sure there's nothing out here. Clean off the tip of it. Then put it back in. Go around. If there's anything in there you can grab. So, looks like it got a pretty good amount on that one. And then also, just for added security, I'm going to run a shop vac on this hole. One last time. All right, darker up here because back up top. I have the shop light down there for drilling that hole, but you won't have to take all this stuff off. Again, like all my other videos, whenever I start turning wrenches on my truck, I end up doing more than one project, so that's why the air cleaner's out. I just bought, well, not just, I've had it for a long time now. Haven't done a review on it yet because I wanted to wait, and probably it's going to be a biased review now, but I bought a three-pod gauge pillar system from Gloshift, and the three things I had monitoring were the exhaust gas temperature, which I'm doing the probe right now, so that wasn't hooked up, but the monitors or the gauge is inside already. And I had the fuel pressure and transmission temperature. Well, I was having problems with my fuel gauge or fuel pressure gauge saying that I was running 96 psi, and I knew I wasn't. I put a manual tester on the fuel line. I wasn't running the factory 40 or 45, I can't remember. I ended up doing the blue spring update. That's why that's a new shiny piece. But it had, the gauge was still running 96 no matter what. As soon as I turned the key, instantly 96. Idling 96, driving down the highway 96, 20 pounds of boost 96. It was just no matter what. So I got a hold of tech support at Gloshift, and I'm sending that out right now, and they're gonna fix it or replace it and send me a new one. The only sad thing to that deal is it's only a couple months old. It's got, I think, a factory 2-year warranty, and I've got to pay to ship it to them. But I guess I don't have to pay for another sensor or gauge, I mean. So I'm assuming they're just going to have to replace the sensor. I don't think anything's wrong with the gauge because it cycles like it's supposed to when you turn the key on. But there's the sensor I think they're going to be replacing. And I think they'll just send me my original gauge back. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think this is what's failed. So the tech talked me through some voltage check with a multimeter, and it was still showing bad. So But anyway, here, back to this project. I've already got all my hoses and stuff or cables and everything ran through my firewall. And there's, for my fuel pressure, that's just coiled up because there was a lot of extra. Down there is all the rest of the cables coming in. And then one goes down to transmission, and then one comes at us, and that's the steel braided. And that's going to be our exhaust gas temperature probe. So it's just been sitting here for however since long I put those gauges in. I would say at least 2 months, 3 months, because I was just not super excited about drilling into my exhaust manifold, and nobody had any videos on YouTube on how to do it on a 6.0. They just had videos showing you that it was already done. So that's another reason why I decided that it was important for me to make a video, show people the step-by-step process on putting this probe in. And then if anything goes wrong on my truck, I'll let you know, and then you can know not to do it the same way. So I got to get this the insert that actually goes into the exhaust manifold off, and then I'll be back once we get underneath the truck. Down here we're going to put the probe mount in, I guess you would call it. And it's a 12 millimeter. So it looks like most of the way it's going to turn in hand tight. Well, okay, anybody that watches this video, if you've already got an EGT probe in that you did yourself, feel free to comment. I didn't find anything for how tight it should be. And again, I'm just trying to be cautious so I don't strip out the manifold. But it's almost flush, it's pretty tight. And I just don't know how much I can turn before I end up stripping it out. And that would be like worst case scenario. So, but there's that. That's the way that looks. And got the probe here. The actual probe. It's got a, if you buy the kit from, at least I know for sure if you buy it from Gloshift, it's got this really tiny little brass, I think it's a compression fitting, in between the mount for the EGT probe and the nut. I dropped that, had to take my battery out, had to take the battery box out, just to find it. It's very, very small, so be careful with that, so you don't have to do all the extra work that I did. But that goes between the two. And then again, another thing that wasn't mentioned in the instructions anywhere, and I couldn't find it, is how far they want the probe in. Obviously, I don't want to go to the other side, because then it'd be just reading the surface temperature. But I don't want to be so shallow that it's not doing anything at all. So what I did is I just roughly measured up the diameter of the tube exhaust manifold, and then I just cut it in half, and then put this little brass compression fitting at where I think half is. And then just twist the nut down to tighten it. this one is a 1/2 inch as well. So we'll grab my 1/2 inch wrench, tighten it. So I guess, I mean, you tug on it and it doesn't feel like it's going to come out, and it can't go left and right. I guess that's good. It's tight. That's the plan. So now I'm going to grab a couple zip ties just to pretty this whole installation up, and then we're going to start it and see what it looks like. Thing underneath the truck, probes in, like I said, tight. Can't turn it, can't pull it in and out. And zip tied the cable so it's not going to be moving around. Just got to go back up top. I already put a couple zip ties up there. I got to put my my battery back in and start it up, and then we'll watch the gauge and see what happens. Cab, finishing up our install for the exhaust gas temperature, and the fuel pressure gauge isn't going to work because I just had to take it out. I got to send that back to the manufacturer because it's not working. It was reading 90 psi all the time, so that one's not going to work. My transmission temperature is going to work, as well as now my exhaust gas temperature. So I'm going to start it up for the first time since I put that in. Just finished installing that, so look at that. She's working. Get out of my garage here so I can idle for a minute. There we go, that's better. It's times 100, so looks like it's staying at 23. There's a little bit of acceleration. See what it's like with the high idle switch on now that we installed yesterday. Looks like it's going to stay right at 29. Anyway, that wraps up the installing the exhaust gas temperature probe and drilling and tapping it out. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Any comments or any suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments. We read them often and we answer all of our questions. So hit the like button on this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot.